I want to share something deeply personal with you today. My story of growing up with a narcissistic parent and how it shaped the way I saw myself, love, and relationships. For years, I didn't realize the impact it had on me. I thought the way I was treated was normal, that love was supposed to feel conditional, and that I had to work hard to earn it. As I got older, these patterns didn't just go away. They followed me into my adult life, showing up in my relationships in the form of trauma bonds. I found myself stuck in cycles of hurt, constantly chasing approval and wondering if I'd ever feel truly loved. But here's the thing, I made it out. It wasn't easy, but I broke free from those patterns. And now I want to share what I've learned from my own healing journey. This isn't professional advice, just what I personally know and what's helped me. If you're concerned for your mental health, please seek help from a licensed professional. In this video, I'm going to talk about 3 key things. 1. How being raised by a narcissistic parent can impact you as a child and adult. 2. What trauma bonding is and why it feels like you're stuck in an emotional addiction. 3. And most importantly, how to start breaking free from these cycles and take the first steps toward healing. But first, I will discuss why emotional neglect can be more harmful than physical abuse. Why neglect can be worse than physical abuse. Invisible but deep psychological scars. Physical abuse is overt, and while it causes trauma, it's often recognized and addressed. Neglect, on the other hand, is silent. A child who grows up emotionally neglected may not even realize they were mistreated, making it harder to heal. Lack of emotional foundation. Children need consistent emotional support to develop a sense of self-worth and security. Chronic neglect, especially from caregivers, leaves deep emotional wounds, often leading to anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. Long-term brain development impact. Studies show that severe neglect can harm brain development, affecting memory, emotional regulation, and stress responses more than physical abuse in some cases. Higher risk of lifelong relationship issues. Neglected individuals often struggle with attachment, making it harder to form healthy relationships and trust others. Neglect is often overlooked. Since there are no bruises, it's easier for neglect to go unnoticed, meaning children might endure it for longer without intervention. How physical abuse differs. Physical abuse causes immediate harm and trauma, but can sometimes be easier to identify and treat. Victims of physical abuse may still receive some emotional validation from their caregivers, unlike neglected children, who often feel completely abandoned. Additional love and support as a child, and you still do now. This is a tough subject, but it's one that needs to be talked about. So, let's get started. How growing up with covert narcissistic neglect affects you as an adult. Here are some 10 signs things might affect you. 1. Emotional manipulation through withdrawal. As a kid, love and approval felt like they came with strings attached. If you upset your parent, they'd withdraw emotionally, leaving you anxious and desperate to fix things. As an adult, you might find yourself constantly people-pleasing or panicking when someone pulls away emotionally, afraid they'll abandon you. When they pull away, constantly asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Why don't they like me? 2. Invalidating your feelings. Your emotions were probably dismissed or minimized. Maybe you were told you were too sensitive or that your feelings didn't matter. As an adult, you might have trouble identifying or expressing your emotions, often brushing them off as unimportant. This can make it hard to connect with others or even understand yourself. 3. Lack of empathy. When you were upset or struggling, your parent didn't seem to care or might have made it all about them. You felt invisible, like your pain didn't matter. As an adult, you might struggle to believe you're worthy of care and hesitate to ask for help. You may also put others' needs ahead of your own, ignoring your own emotions entirely. 4th, passive-aggressive criticism. Instead of outright criticism, their remarks were subtle, wrapped in sarcasm or disguised as jokes. You might not have realized it at the time, but it left you feeling small and unsure of yourself. As an adult, you could have a constant fear of being judged or feel like you're never good enough. This might lead to perfectionism or an overwhelming sense of self-doubt. 5. Playing the victim. Anytime you tried to express your needs, they'd twist it around, making you feel guilty for wanting anything at all. As an adult, you might feel ashamed of your needs, worrying that asking for anything will make you seem selfish or hurt someone else. This can lead to unhealthy, one-sided relationships. 6. Unpredictable emotional support. One day they'd be warm and caring, and the next, cold and distant. You never knew what to expect, so you were always on edge, trying to keep them happy. As an adult, trusting others can feel impossible. You might fear people will suddenly pull away, which can lead to either avoiding intimacy or clinging to relationships, even unhealthy ones. 7. Prioritizing their image. Your parent cared more about how others saw them than how you felt. You might have been expected to play the role of the perfect child to make them look good. As an adult, you might feel pressure to present a perfect version of yourself to the world, terrified that showing vulnerability or flaws will lead to rejection or judgment. 8. Dismissing your achievements. No matter how hard you worked or what you accomplished, it was either ignored or minimized. Somehow, it was never enough. As an adult, you might struggle with imposter syndrome, constantly doubting your achievements or feeling like you need to overachieve just to feel worthy. 9. Emotional stonewalling. When you tried to talk about your feelings or solve conflicts, they shut you down or ignored you altogether. You were left feeling unheard and powerless. As an adult, you might avoid conflict at all costs or struggle to bring up emotional issues, fearing rejection or being shut out again. 10. Comparing you to others. Your parent might have constantly compared you to siblings, friends, or other kids, making you feel like you were never good enough. As an adult, you might find yourself stuck in a cycle of comparing yourself to others, always feeling like you fall short or don't measure up. How it all comes together in adulthood. Growing up with a covert narcissistic parent shapes how you see yourself and the world around you. You might doubt your emotions, struggle with self-esteem, and find it hard to form healthy relationships. It can feel like you're constantly trying to prove your worth or avoid conflict, all while battling a deep sense of inadequacy. But here's the thing. These patterns don't have to define you. Healing starts with recognizing how these experiences shaped you and giving yourself permission to break free. It's okay to ask for help, set boundaries, and prioritize your own needs. You deserved unconditional love and support as a child, and you still do now. 2. What is trauma bonding and why does it feel like an addiction? Let's talk about trauma bonding, because if you've experienced it, you know how hard it is to even recognize, let alone break free from. Trauma bonding happens when you form a deep emotional attachment to someone who is consistently hurting you. And I know that sounds strange. Why would you feel bonded to someone who's causing you pain? But it's not about logic. It's about emotional survival and the cycles of abuse that keep you trapped. Why does trauma bonding feel like an addiction? This childhood dynamic can explain why. 1. The cycle of abuse. Emotional highs and lows. Those moments of kindness, no matter how rare or fleeting, mimic the validation you longed for as a child. This chemical connection keeps you hooked. The highs feel like love, the lows feel like normalcy, and the cycle becomes addictive. It's not just about feelings, it's about survival, seeking connection in a way your brain was wired to need from an early age. Trauma bonds are built on a cycle of pain and relief, and that cycle is addictive. Think of it like this. One moment, the person is neglecting, hurting, or devaluing you, and the next, They're showering you with kindness or giving you just enough affection to pull you back in. It's the unpredictability of it all that hooks you. You never know when that good moment is coming, so you keep holding on, hoping that the next time, things will change. This is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's the same concept that makes gambling so addictive. You're chasing that next win, even if most of the time, you're losing. 2. Your brain on trauma bonding, the chemical connection. Here's where it gets even deeper. Trauma bonding literally rewires your brain. When you're in a relationship like this, your brain releases dopamine during those rare moments of affection or kindness. Dopamine is the feel-good chemical, and it creates a rush of pleasure and relief. But in between those moments, you're dealing with stress, fear, and anxiety, which trigger the release of cortisol, the stress hormone. The constant switch between dopamine highs and cortisol lows keeps your brain stuck in survival mode, always craving that next high. This chemical roller coaster is why trauma bonding feels so much like addiction. It's not just emotional, it's physical. Your body literally gets hooked on the cycle, which makes it incredibly hard to break free. 3. The craving for love you never had. If you grew up in a home where love felt conditional or inconsistent, trauma bonding hits even harder. It taps into that deep, unmet need for love and safety that you've been carrying since childhood. You might find yourself thinking things like, if I just try harder, they'll love me the way I need. Maybe this time things will be different. I know they hurt me, but they're not all bad. They love me deep down. But the heartbreaking truth is, you're not actually chasing the person. You're chasing the love you never received. And because of this, you stay, hoping that the next time they're kind or affectionate, it'll finally fill that void. But it never does. It's like drinking salt water when you're thirsty. It keeps you craving, but it'll never quench your thirst. 4. Losing yourself in the process. One of the most painful parts of trauma bonding is how much you lose yourself in the cycle. You start to doubt your own instincts, your worth, and even your reality. You might find yourself making excuses for the other person's behavior, blaming yourself, or believing that you just need to be better for things to improve. That's the illusion, the same one you may have clung to as a child. In a narcissistic relationship, you were conditioned to believe that if you were just better, more loving, more patient, more understanding, things would change. But they never did, because the problem was never you. This is the same cycle that played out with your parent. You excused their behavior, blamed yourself, and tried harder, thinking that if you were good enough, they would finally love you the way you needed. But a narcissist's love is transactional, conditional, and ultimately hollow. No matter how much you give, it will never be enough, because they are a bottomless void, incapable of true connection. Healing means breaking this pattern. It means realizing that love is not something you earn by self-sacrifice. It's something that should flow freely, without manipulation, without conditions. The only way things improve is not by becoming better for them, but by becoming better for yourself, by stepping out of the illusion and reclaiming your power. Over time, you become so focused on earning their love and approval that you forget about your own needs entirely. And every time they breadcrumb you with a little bit of affection, it feels like relief. Like maybe, just maybe, they care after all. But that's not love. It's control. And it's designed to keep you hooked. Why breaking a trauma bond feels so hard. Breaking a trauma bond is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, because it's not just about walking away from the person. It's about breaking free from the cycle your brain has become addicted to and unlearning the belief that love has to be earned through pain and sacrifice. Think about it. When you try to leave, it feels like withdrawal. You might feel empty, anxious, or even physically unwell. Your brain is screaming for that dopamine hit, for the relief you felt during those rare moments of kindness. And that's what makes trauma bonds so powerful. They trick you into believing that the pain is worth it for those fleeting moments of love. But it's not. Real love doesn't come with cycles of pain and relief. Real love is steady, consistent, and safe. And the first step to breaking a trauma bond is realizing that what you're chasing isn't real love. It's the hope of love that keeps you stuck. Healing from narcissistic abuse. Recovering from narcissistic abuse is a deeply personal and often challenging journey, but it's also an empowering process of reclaiming your self-worth, rebuilding trust in yourself, and learning what healthy love truly looks like. Here's a guide to help you begin your healing journey. 1. Acknowledge the abuse and its impact. Recognize what happened. The first step in healing is acknowledging that you were in an abusive relationship. Narcissistic abuse often involves manipulation, gaslighting, and control, which can leave you doubting your own reality. Reflect on the behaviors you endured, such as emotional withdrawal, criticism, or love bombing. Understand that their actions were about control, not love. Validate your experience. Narcissistic abuse can make you feel invisible, unheard, and invalidated. Part of healing is recognizing that your pain is real and that you are allowed to grieve what you've been through. Journaling can help you process your feelings. Talking to a trusted friend or therapist can provide external validation. 2. Break the trauma bond. Understand trauma bonding. Trauma bonding is the intense attachment you feel to the narcissist, even though they hurt you. It's fueled by cycles of abuse and intermittent kindness, making it feel almost impossible to let go. Recognize that the bond is about survival, not love. Remind yourself that breadcrumbs of affection are not enough. You deserve real love. Detox from the narcissist. Distance is crucial for breaking free. Go no contact. If possible, cut off all communication with the narcissist. Block their number, emails, and social media. Gray rock technique. If you can't go no contact because of co-parenting, keep interactions minimal and emotionally detached. Be as uninteresting as possible to avoid giving them fuel. Resist the urge to return. You might feel tempted to go back, especially during moments of loneliness. Remember, the narcissist will not change. Keep a list of reasons why you left and revisit it when you feel tempted. Replace the craving for their approval with self-compassion and support from healthy relationships. 3. Rebuild your sense of self. Recognize how the abuse shaped you. Narcissistic abuse often leaves you doubting your worth, your instincts, and your identity. Start rebuilding by reflecting on how the abuse affected your self-esteem, boundaries, and decision-making. Understanding that the abuse was not your fault. You are not broken or unlovable. The narcissist as a catalyst for your awakening. In a spiritual sense, you could see the narcissist's actions as a form of karmic cleansing. The more they hurt you, the more they may be burning away layers of unresolved karma from your past, whether from this life or another. They unknowingly become a mirror, exposing your wounds, your shadows, and your unhealed parts, giving you an opportunity to face them and transcend. Their cruelty forces you to let go of illusions. The illusion of needing external validation, the illusion of control, and the illusion that love should be painful. Through the hurt, you release attachments that no longer serve you. In a way, their actions strip you of the emotional baggage and conditioning you might have carried for lifetimes. However, this doesn't mean you deserved the pain or that their behavior is excusable. It simply means their presence in your life served a higher purpose, helping you evolve spiritually by showing you what love isn't, so you can discover what love truly is. The narcissist, despite their darkness, unknowingly acts as a tool for your awakening. They teach you detachment, resilience, and the art of loving yourself. Their actions break you open, but that breaking allows the light to flood in, helping you rise beyond the karmic cycles they remain stuck in. They take on your bad karma while you ascend, lighter and freer. So while their actions may feel unbearable in the moment, they are clearing the way for you to step into a higher, more conscious, and liberated version of yourself. What they take from you is not truly lost. It transforms into wisdom, strength, and inner peace. Releasing the narcissist, restoring your light. As Marianne Williamson beautifully explains through the law of restoration, your job is to release the bitterness, the anger, and the pain that the narcissist left behind. Holding on to resentment only keeps you tethered to their darkness. But when you let go, truly forgive, not for their sake, but for your own, you make space for the universe to restore you. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing their actions or forgetting the harm. It means freeing your heart from the chains of the past, allowing the good energy of love, light, and abundance to flow back into your life. When you release the bitterness, you reclaim your power. What was taken from you will be returned, multiplied, in ways you may not yet even imagine. This is the ultimate lesson. Through their darkness, you find your light. Through their harm, you discover your wholeness. By releasing them, you align with divine love, and the universe restores everything you lost, only this time, in a way that's real, eternal, and pure. The law of reciprocity and the narcissist, releasing darkness, restoring light. The law of reciprocity is simple. What you put out into the world, you eventually receive in return. It's the natural balance of energy, the universal law of exchange. But when it comes to narcissists, this law seems broken, right? You gave them love, understanding, patience, maybe even parts of yourself you never gave to anyone else. And in return, they drained you, manipulated you, discarded you like you were nothing. It feels unfair, like you gave everything and got only pain in return. But here's the deeper truth. The universe is always balancing the scales. The narcissist, by their very nature, takes without giving. They operate in spiritual debt, always trying to fill a void that can't be filled. That's why they seek out kind, empathetic people, people with light, people who naturally give. So what happens now? If the narcissist never gave back, where does your return come from? Not from them, but from life itself. This is where your job becomes clear. Release the bitterness, not for them, not to excuse them, but for yourself. If you hold on to resentment, you block the flow of restoration. When you let go, truly let go, the universe restores you in ways you never expected. You may find new opportunities, deeper love, or an unshakable sense of self-worth. The narcissist stays trapped in their cycle, endlessly chasing what they can never have. But you get to rise. You get to receive back all the love, all the kindness, all the energy you poured into them. But this time, from sources that actually deserve you. That's the law of reciprocity at work, and that's how you truly win. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Your support helps me create more content like this, diving deeper into healing, self-awareness, and spiritual growth. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your journey. Until next time, stay aware, stay empowered, and keep rising.